All right, since nobody's going to be back here until the end of the event,
We got water bottles.
Oh, you have a water bottle. Hey, Mrs. Johnson. Well, do me a big favor. Can you get me two small shirts? No, a small.
Y'all good?
Yes.
Everybody good?
Oh, okay.
Hey, so we should put water bottles down here. No, just so it is. Sorry.
Yeah, I got the last one.
What the heck are those? If you can, real quick, go on the Facebook page and share the live feed so that your people on Facebook can see.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's behind the curtain. Let me show you. Put it behind the black curtain. Yeah. I know
I want to say yes. I believe that's what Dr. Taylor said the first meeting. Um, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, they can like you know,
I think we'll have to ask Dr. Taylor because that I'm not sure of.
you gave me the shirt, right? You gave me. $1.
So I have a question. I have to be home at 1. Okay, sweet. I didn't know you worked this. I thought it was just like. Someone just stole my seat.
Are you doing live right now? On YouTube and Facebook.
Hello. Good morning, UP students. How are you today?
I'm out, bro.
Okay, no. My students know me. Good morning, UP students. How are you? Thank you. Thank you for coming to the Knowledge is Power event today. We're going to start in about 5 minutes, but I would like for the room to be a little quiet. I want you guys to pay attention to the video that is playing on the screen, because this is a part of our event today. So we will be starting in 5 minutes.
I'm just feeling like
I'm walking in front of you.
You're not going to go out in a group on the position that you're coming in. I don't choose you that. All of the life was put out the slope. The little bit of it, don't walk it on, put on, question. Actually, you take your prayers back to your church. That's the proper place to pray. So I'm sure that God will hear your prayer just as well down there. But you're not going on this one. That's wrong. Sir, whatever that means, when people can get you prayer from you, why don't you pray where they are? Come back down and pray. You think you're living white? You think you're not saved, son? Well, they go back to your church and pray. You do your prayer, I do mine, big boy. You pray for me. I don't know if you pray for me. Because I don't think your prayers get above your knees. No, I'm not going to pray for you. I get my best, you get you, and they tell me you right. There's no second, sir. I don't have to love anybody I don't know. Sir, do your own love. You love your little nigga. How well do I see you? You believe in justice for all? I believe in justice. I don't believe in equalness. There's no two people in this world alike. They're not equal on any terms or conditions. There's no two pieces in the world alike. No two pieces of money, none of that.
So you're saying that if I have a quarter and I'm black and you have a quarter and you white and my quarter is worth as much as your
That's your point. I decide what my quarter, what you use yours and I use mine. Now you get these things in yours.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Thank you. Once again, thank you for coming to the Knowledge is Power event. I'm glad that everyone is here today. How this is going to run is we have moderators on the panel. Well, we have panelists, as you can see on the front. I will introduce each of them quickly, but I wanted you all to know that this event was brought to you by Psi Beta. I'm the faculty advisor for Psi Beta, as well as Nicole Stonecker, who's on the panel. We also have
Jermaine Johnson, Criminal Justice, Justice Agents of Change.
And I'm Professor Katre, I'm the campus coordinator for civic engagement here at UP.
So I want you guys all to be open and to ask questions, but I'm really going to start with introducing the moderators. The first one, well, our moderators we have right here are Professor Johnson. He will walk around this side of the room if you guys have any questions. Another moderator is also Dr. Kenyatta Phelps. She will be moderating that side of the room. We also have an adjunct professor, Professor Carlos Wallace. He'll be walking around and moderating in the middle as well. Now, in reference to our panelists, we have Michael Herzig. We have Professor Stonecker. We have Patricia, Officer B, yes. We also have Andrew Martin. Carlos Wallace, Derek Muhammad, and Jason Oliphant. If you guys would like to know a little bit of the panelists, you do have a handout that was in each of your sheets so you know directly where maybe you want to direct your questions to. Lunch and the raffle will be done at the event, which will be done around 12:10. Okay, do we have any questions? Let's get it going. Remember, knowledge is power. Thank you.
How y'all doing today? Y'all hear me fine? Like she said, I'm Carlos Wallace. Glad to be here today. Thank you, Dr. Sonia, for allowing me this great opportunity to hopefully change some lives, mend some fences, and have a better relationship between law enforcement and the community. I want to first say thanks for all the questions. We all submitted questions. I really appreciate it. But it was like 22,000 of them, and we only have like an hour, so there's no way we're going to be able to get to every question. So I picked some of the ones that I felt like were the best, and a lot of them are kind of the same. So hopefully with the ones I chose, we'll be able to seek answers for the ones that when I selected. I'm ready to get started. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. Brother Derek, I'm gonna pick on you first. I like this question because I happen to believe that the justice system is a little bit unfair, but it's not really a black or white ethnicity as much as it is about your economical level and your tax bracket. So the first question is poverty the leading cause of crime?
Let me first say thank you so much for having me, University Park. You all look good today. Please give yourselves a round of applause. I think you can do better than that for yourself. Is poverty the leading cause of crime? I would have to say not necessarily. I believe that the leading cause of crime is a system that has been set in place where the 1% carry most of the wealth in this country while the 99% suffer and many live below the poverty line. Dr. King said it like this. He said that he spoke of darkness, and he said that the individual who's in the dark should not necessarily be punished, but it is he who caused the darkness in the first place that should be punished. We live in some dark times in America. The criminal justice system as we know it is systemic. When people say Black Lives Matter, it's not necessarily a protest against white people. It is a protest against a system that we believe does not value black life the way that it should. So is poverty the leading cause of crime? I say no. The leading cause of crime is a capitalistic system that robs the masses of the people of opportunities that the 1% have but the 99% do not have. So when we fix the system, then we can begin to fix the crime problem. I hope I made some sense.
Mr. Andrew, continuing with Brother Muhammad said, there is a strong belief that the system is corrupt. With that, how do you feel like we can fix it?
Well, fixing the system is twofold. We need assistance from the Justice Department as it relates to dealing with the issues that we have with law enforcement, but also we need socioeconomic intervention as well. Because when you look at a situation now where you have a person that does the right thing, goes to college, gets a college degree, and I look at one year of college at a state-funded university is with $15,000 to $16,000 in 2016. I was in law school for 3 years. My tuition and fees for that entire 3-year period was only $14,000. So, but when I was in law school, there were tuition caps. So, with the legislature regulated what state schools could charge for tuition fees. Now those caps are gone. So you have someone in a situation where they've done the right thing, they graduated from college, but now they're in so much debt. The debt causes this darkness that the gentleman down here was speaking of. So we definitely, there needs to be a twofold approach. We need some help from the Justice Department to address some of these law enforcement issues, but for someone who's done the right thing to have some hope, we need some intervention, some financial, socioeconomic intervention to help.
Okay. So what it sounds like to me is the biggest corruption is greed, which brings us back to Brother Gary with that upper 1%. Would you agree?
I have to agree.
How you doing, sister? Next one is yours. As a police officer, and these aren't my questions. Why do you feel like blacks are pulled over more than whites?
I think that I speak loud enough, but as a police officer, why does blacks get pulled over more than whites? You can tie in a lot of what he's saying about poverty, about the system and it's corrupt, but you also have to be responsible for your actions, and what you do. You also have to look at the demographics of the area you live in or the population. So people say that blacks get pulled over more, you go to statistics and you go from there, but you also have to look at the population and demographics where the crime stats are coming from. And you also have to go back to property. Some people have brand new cars, some people have beat up cars or things of that nature. Traffic laws are set in place because you can get pulled over for a cracked windshield. You can get pulled over for no front plates. And a lot of people are uneducated and do not know these stipulations that can pull you over for violations that have occurred. Running a stop sign, rolling stop, different things of that nature. I'm not saying that they're actually looking in your car and then back down and pull you over just because. There's other things that you can violate traffic law, but you can't get pulled over.
So it's fair to say that maybe some of the people are being pulled over and they feel like it's unfair, but they just didn't know the law.
Correct.
That's why we're here today, so we can build this relationship. Now, Brother Jason, then continue with what she was saying. You have something you want to say? Because the next question is yours. So you keep that mic on.
I just wanted to add on to what she said. A lot of times, I think stemming from what they said, that darkness, you have a light bill, you have house note, you have kids to feed. Maybe that registration sticker may lapse. Maybe you're so busy with life. Like yesterday, I went and made a purchase, and I was told that my driver's license had expired. I didn't know, because I was so busy. Back when I was in patrol, for me, it wasn't a racial thing, it was a car thing. Sometimes your supervisor would say, we need more productivity. I need 6 tickets, I need 6 violations. So for me, my strategy was driving one way, I'd be looking the other way, and I'd look for an expired registration. Now, from what I've learned, an expired registration is usually good for free, because the person with the expired registration oftentimes would have a lapsed insurance also. So I pulled them over, that's 2 tickets right there. I'm almost done. I need one more stop. And just depending on their mood, maybe they're rude to me. Okay, so you got the expired registration, you got the insurance, and your front windshield is cracked. And you don't have a rear view mirror. And I'm done for the day as far as citations are concerned. But for me, it was always the vehicle. And I think that status kind of skewed because it depends on where you're patrolling. The area I was patrolling was mostly lower middle class, Black, Hispanic. So my traffic stops tended to always be Black and Hispanic. Honestly, the culture of that neighborhood was that you did see someone white, they would get stopped, and pretty much like, what do you do when you get, And a lot of times when you get didn't grow up in that neighborhood, coming to the neighborhood, usually something they weren't supposed to do. So for me, the traffic stop stack is kind of skewed because it depends a lot on the area. When I patrolled the medical center, the violation was mostly from accidents that were totally different. But to answer that question, I think it depends on what the status actually is.
Now, I see the faces on some of the people saying, why are you picking on people with your sticker out, life insurance and whatnot? Now, for many of you that don't know, my book is Life is Not Complicated, You Are. And a lot of the students in here have had that book as an assignment. And I'm gonna, with what he said, the book teaches you that it's about you. So if your sticker wasn't out, you wouldn't be pulled over. So I'm mad at the person that has a sticker out, not the guy that pulls them over. So just keep those things in mind.
Carlos, could, over here. Can I approach the gentleman with the suit on? Yes. Muhammad?
There, yeah.
Okay, some of the things that we go over in our class, I heard you mention Black Lives Matter. And with most of what we're seeing, a lot of people will say that Black lives only matter when a white person is taking it, as far as the police officer is concerned. What do you feel about that?
I believe that we have to clarify these statements. Black lives matter versus all lives matter. When people say all lives matter, I understand what you mean. That's idealistic. But when we have to tell you that Black lives matter, it means that when I say Black lives matter, I am saying all lives matter to a system that has devalued Black life. Prove it, Brother Derek. Let's look at the history of America. Let's look at how hundreds, over 100 million Black lives were lost during the transatlantic slave trade. 6 million lives were lost during the Holocaust. These were Jewish lives in Germany. It was a travesty. Tens of millions of Native American lives were lost during Christopher Columbus's movement, and they decimated the ranks of the Native American, the so-called Indian. Travesty. Hundreds of thousands of Japanese lives were destroyed when they were put in internment camps. When it came time for them to lobby for Japanese reparations, they got it. When it came time for them to lobby for Jewish reparations, they got it. When it came time for them to lobby for Native American reparations, they didn't really get reparations, they got reservations, but the loss of those lives were recognized. But to this day, in the United States Congress, they won't even pass a resolution to discuss reparations for all of the Black lives lost during the transatlantic slave trade. That is the government of America telling you Black lives don't matter to us as much as they matter, as other lives matter. So a student who would make that statement has a very valid point. The fact that you're in somebody else's neighborhood trying to make a quota to write tickets is a shame in and of itself. Is that right? And there is a problem with racial profiling in this country. See, you have to look at the history of the police force in America. When did police departments first turn up in America? They turned up when you had a problem with runaway slaves. That's what they were. They were slave catchers. So the ultimate objective in the first place of the police department in this country was to catch Black people and put them in their place. And I'm here to say that unfortunately, that too much has not changed.
We thank you for your commentary. But one of the things I think you kind of pivoted and not really answered the question, because you went back to slavery, and we're in 2016, and UCR crime reports report that Black males represent 50% of all manslaughters and homicides. And so I think it's really unfair to put all of this on police officers. I think that African Americans are going to have take some responsibility for the things that they're showing as well, Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, sir. And I have to agree with you on some level. See, this is what you got to understand. You cannot compare the state-sanctioned murder of American citizens by police officers with so-called black-on-black crime. And let me say that 85% of white people who are murdered in America are murdered by other white people. The majority of Asian people murdered in America are murdered by other Asian people. So don't single out the Black community when it comes to race on race, murder. But this is the difference. If I I go out and I murder another black man, I will be brought to court. I will be sat in front of a judge and a jury. I will be convicted and I will probably be given life in prison. I think we can all agree on it. But if a police officer murders the same black person, they will not be brought before a court. They will not be brought before a judge. And if so, at the end of the day, they will be given a good vacation for the murder that they committed. Darren Wilson murdered Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri in broad daylight. He's a millionaire right now because of it. He didn't do 1 day in jail, but had I committed that same murder, the system would have punished me adequately. So you cannot compare it. You cannot compare the two. Because when we commit murder, we pay the price. When police officers commit murder, they get paid. And a paid vacation. See, we pay when we commit murder. They get paid when they commit murder. You think I'm lying? Check the statistics.
I got a question. I mean, we all understand about the police and the Black Lives Matter. What I want to know is, by me being black and I got kids, I don't hear nobody teaching, other blacks teaching our males how to approach a police officer, how to talk to a police officer. Because when they do get pulled over, like my man said, he's looking for this on the car. You can eliminate a lot of that if you know how to talk to them. Because I grew up in South Park. And some of these kids, now these days, don't know how to talk to a police officer. You ask them a question, they want to ask why. Because at the end of the day, we all want to go home to our family. Right? And nobody is even saying all that. I don't hear that at all. I mean, we all know about slavery. We all know the incarceration, about all these jails being built and the whole nine. But nobody's talking about teaching. I want to hear about teaching. Teaching our young black youth that's coming up. Teaching them how to be respectful of one another. Can somebody answer that question?
I'll answer. I'm going to totally disagree with you because Brother Derek and I specifically, and I'm sure there's a multitude of other people doing the same thing. But Brother Derek, about 7 years ago, started a summit called the Black Male Summit. And I don't want anybody confused because anybody can come. We have Hispanic males, we have white males, and a lot of mothers because they want to see what it is Brother Derek is talking to them about. But 3 years ago, he invited me to come, so I've been a part of it. And it's not just how to talk to police officers. We talk to them about ownership, owning your own product, how to start your own business, how to sustain in a system that may not be favorable for you. So rather than cry about it, you make the system want you to be a part of it. And you're the owner. And I think Brother Derek so graciously stated, own or be owned. Well, you see what being owned worked out. It didn't work out in our favor. So now I want to teach you how to own. So yeah, there are teachings. Now, is it as popular as the killings and all this other stuff? Probably not, because negativity just seems to travel much faster than positivity. But to say that it's not going on is a complete false. Two-part question. Okay.
Question right here.
Awesome. We want some students to ask the questions.
My name is Karen Scurry, and I'm actually a criminal justice major. I do plan on becoming a police officer once I graduate from Gold Star College. My question to you guys is, I guess I'll tie it all with the pulling over. Now we're still pulling over, you know, it was 10 o'clock at night, I'm on my way home. I look like a bell, I have my hat, I'm wearing all black. I get pulled over, police officer comes to my car, he's very aggressive, he has an attitude in his voice, and he's just, I thought he was demeaning me. And then I gave him my license, and then his whole attitude changed. He saw that I was a female, and then he was just like, at first he pulled me over for speeding, and then once I gave his license, he was like, oh, I want to make sure you make it home okay. So why is it when he perceived me to be a male that he came at me in an aggressive tone? But once he saw that I was a female, his whole demeanor changed and he was very polite.
Nicole, I want you to answer that. Y'all know her as a professor, but I just learned that she was a police officer before, so from a mental standpoint, and
I think I can answer that from a police officer standpoint. I worked about 2.5 years in Bryan night shift. And what most people don't know is that during the night shift, or during any shift, but night shifts specifically, you're working by yourself. And you're working with a bare minimum of 5 to 6 police officers who are working at the same time as you. And I'm giving you a little background to explain where that is coming from, at least from my point of view. So your coworkers might be on another case, they might be working at a traffic stop, they might be having dinner. I mean, we're police officers, but we still have to eat, you know, we still have to take care of things. So when I approach a car at night, I might be a little more aggressive to somebody with my voice because it's just me. So I need to kind of establish authority over the situation. It's not you. It's authority over the situation to know that I'm in control and I'm going to go home. And if you pull a gun on me, it's me and you. It's not my coworkers who are 10 minutes away, who might be eating, who will take some time to get there. So I think being a police officer, we see the situation from a different point of view. You see it personally. I'm seeing it as doing my job and taking control of the situation and being safe and keeping you safe too. Once we realized, once the situation de-escalated, I don't know if it had to do with a male or female thing, but knowing that you were not a threat, then it changed. Say you were speeding, there's no reason you have to get a ticket. I assess the situation, realize I don't need to write a ticket, and have a nice night, and off you go. So it's not anything personal, which you might be seeing it as. To me, it's how I approach a traffic stop.
But when he said I was doing 80 and 40, you don't see that as I should get a speeding ticket if I was doing 80 and 40?
There's no reason, I mean, I probably would have written the ticket, but, you know, you got lucky. He just gave you a warning.
Count your blessing.
Another question?
He want to say something.
I want to comment on that. My bio was up here. My name is Officer Tank Slater, Vice President Officer Tank. I'm retired Houston Police for 28 years. I've been here 3 years. I'm a graduate of Texas Southern, Vietnam veteran, and all that good stuff. I come with a place with 4,500 police. Not 25, not 30, not 25. I knew Derek Muhammad when he was a young man. He's been doing this a long time. He's been doing this a long time. But what I want to piggyback on some of the stuff that what Officer Littleville was saying earlier. She worked at my substation of Northeast Houston for about 5 years, and she went off and did some other police work with the state. And I was trying to get her to go back to Houston. I had talked to a couple of assistant chief friends of mine. They could circumvent stuff, but she's that good, and she's that needed. But what I want to emphasize to what the young lady said, there's day shift, there's evening shift, and then there is the night shift. It's a whole different mentality. I'm not trying to make excuses for the officer. What I'm saying is dark, it's nighttime, he's by himself. And let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. There's a lot of officers out here. They're good officers. Some officers, they're just afraid. They are just afraid. It's just a fact of life. The substation where I worked in Thomas's 5th Ward, Canterbury Garden, Denver Hall, the north side. So, and a couple of police academies, they would say, well, Tank, you work some tough area, that's a tough area. Okay. You may consider the tough area, but some of the best people in the world live out there. I sincerely believe that. But it's so economically deprived. Young people
they don't have much to look forward to. Just recently, the school district guy, Veronica, HISD, he said it takes $9,500 to educate a kid in HISD, roughly $10,000. But yet, if you get one kid who goes to the criminal justice system as a juvenile and he's incarcerated, it's $134,000. So are we going to educate or are we going to incarcerate? It's a big difference. If any of you, by raising a hand or not, do you have anyone, father, brother, sister, within the criminal justice who has been to the penitentiary? And the reason why I'm asking this, not because they have a hard time. They have a hard time readjusting. It's called justice with mercy. We're trying to, it's like the young officer, I'm kind of over it. I work for Northeast Houston. I work patrol, I work jump out boys, tag team, did a little undercover stuff. I never had to try to get ducks of productivity. Because the human suffering is so great, that people will do things that are felonious and will get themselves in so much trouble that a traffic ticket is nothing. You're talking about felonies. And these things will follow these young people for the rest of their lives. It don't matter if they come up here and get an associate degree. It don't matter if they get a bachelor's degree. At felony, if you got it at 17, it's 77. It's still there.
I have a follow-up question back here.
I want to go back to the situation and what she presented. So I see a little problem here. You said that after the person, the officer or whoever, found that the situation wasn't, I guess, a dangerous one, and he calmed his nerves. But the issue is she still does the same. So really the changing point or the climax of the situation was the fact that the officer found that she was a woman. But I know a lot more women are way more, I guess, threatening than those guys. So would you say that would be an issue as far as just approaching the situation, looking at aggressive attitudes from the get-go? Like, not everyone is, like, for instance, when I get pulled over, I'm fine. Because I know how to speak. I don't come at people with a bunch of anger. And when I see that, I'm trying to figure out why is that the case, especially since I didn't give you any kind of cue to start off that way.
And I see what you're saying, but if, coming from a police officer's point of view, you have to go to, what I'm trying to say is you need to approach the situation in a way that you as someone in the car, might not see the situation. We're both in the same situation, but we're viewing it with different glasses. You're viewing it with glasses that say, I'm not doing anything wrong. And by how she was approached, I'm not saying that he thought she did something wrong, but that is how he's approaching her in order to take a stance to be protective.
Would you say it's a kind of bad way to approach the situation from the beginning?
It might be. You might be right on that. But to know that in another situation, somebody might jump out of the car and fight him. So he is prepared for that situation. And from what it sounds like, it de-escalated quickly. If someone maybe approached you and pulled you over for the same kind of traffic stop because of your demeanor and the way you spoke and the situation, I'm assuming you don't have a weapon, then the situation would de-escalate. It's kind of, as a police officer, you're out there on your own, and you're by yourself, and you want to make it home alive, and you don't know what you're going to encounter. You know who you are, but I don't know who you are. You might be the person who tries to kill me. And I've had guns pulled on me on traffic stops plenty of times. Knives, guns. I've had people who say, who are hold themselves up to be preachers or pillars of the community, and I've had to fight these people in the middle of the street. So I need to make sure that my body is prepared for that kind of encounter. And when we have a discussion, then my body can be prepared for the encounter we're now having. I can de-escalate, we can de-escalate. And that is my job as a police officer, is to de-escalate that situation with my words first. and hopefully that would happen.
Let me add on to what she's saying. And she can't speak for that officer because she wasn't there at the traffic stop, but for you all to keep persistent about it, that's very personal. And I can understand that it could be a very personal situation that you got pulled over, you got let go for a speeding ticket. But we can't speak for all officers in general. Everybody in this class, in this room, has a different amount of fear. My fear is different than your fear. But because I've been in different situations than you have been in, and this other officer that pulled you over, his fear may be different. At that time, in that situation, you don't know what he encountered the call before or what he's looking for. We don't know that we cannot speak on that situation. But as an officer, like I said, everybody's fear is different. Just like Officer Tankson said, some people are fearful out there, and that are officers. You have to have authority when you approach a car, so you make sure it is controlled. But 2 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it is, communication is a key. If he came off aggressively and he checked himself, you gotta respect that just a little bit. If he did give you a ticket, if he did give you a ticket, but you have to understand, communication is big. In a lot of situations that are in media right now, and they say this is what happened, like I said, it takes 2 seconds to communicate different. If I approach a car and I see something different, I'm gonna communicate it different. I have been approached different ways. I have been approached like I'm gonna whoop this officer behind because she's a female. I've been approached as in a traffic stop, oh, I'm gonna sweet talk her so I can get out this ticket. I'm gonna flirt and I'm gonna get out of this ticket. Or I have been, you know, it's just different things that's been approached in different ways as an officer that you encounter daily, all day long, and that you don't know. And if you on night shift at 10 o'clock, your fear is totally different than you have someone in a day that I have nothing but light, visibility, that's totally different. So we cannot speak or defend that officer, and we're not trying to defend him or defend you in any way. We're just saying that situation is very personal to you, and I hate the way that it made you feel at that time. But like I said, we can't represent that officer for that decision that he made. But everybody's fear is different. Every situation is different.
One more thing. Sorry, brother. And I always tell people that what would you do? You would police. What would you do if you were a police? Bottom line of it is that police officer, is he communicating and investigating, or is he intimidating and denigrating? Now, after the confrontation, I would hope he has character and communication skills enough to mention the fact that, ma'am, sorry, hopefully, no, that's what I'm saying. Now, look, you're still talking about somebody who did almost 30 years with a major police department. And this guy still, there's different see, I'm not afraid. And not that I'm all that. It's just my culture, my upbringing, my training. What I'm afraid of is dying without honor. Not doing the right thing by citizens. Not doing the right thing by people and blemishing an exemplary police history of my own. Or letting that particular neighborhood down. They're still, y'all in University Park, y'all still my people. If you're doing good, if you're doing bad, you're still my people. Y'all are in my beat. I care about y'all. Your mamas, y'all say, sentiment up here. They out there waiting on some of y'all to pick you up. I care about you. It's the same thing with an officer in a beat. I want to protect you all. Sometimes we have to try to protect you from yourself. But the bottom line of it is, that's what a police officer is supposed to do.
Yeah, we have a question. Yeah. May I say something real quick? Let's first be clear that not every situation is the same. So we want to be careful when we generalize. I do believe that there are some decent police officers out there, but I also believe that there's some racist, redneck, no good police officers out there as well. My sister, what is your name, ma'am? Kiara. Let me be the first, if nobody else has said it to you in this room. Ma'am, I am very sorry about what happened to you. And I pray to God that He heals you and He gives you peace of mind so that you will know that you don't have to be afraid of anybody. What happened to you was not okay. That was not okay. And I think we're kind of skirting around the issue. She said when the officer thought that she was a black male, he mistreated her. He was not respectful to her. When he saw that she was, in essence, a female, he changed his tone. That's what she's talking about. Now, if I do a propaganda workshop, and in that workshop I ask everybody to close their eyes. I don't want you to do it right now. And then I call out a word, and I ask the audience to tell me what's the first picture that you see in your mind when I call out that word. So sometimes I'll call out the word drug dealer. And people have to be honest. When they open their eyes, they say, I saw a black male when you said drug dealer. But when you look at the statistics, most of the people arrested for selling, distributing, and use of drugs in this country are not black. Propaganda. And the black male has been painted as the enemy when we are not. Truth be told, that most of the criminals in this country don't wear hoodies and jeans. Most of the criminals in this country wear blue suits, white shirts, neckties, and they commit what's called white-collar crime, and there's not an officer on this dais that has the power to arrest them. Truth be told, most of the bank robbers in this country are not black males. Most of the bank robbers in this country are actually the individuals who own the banks, and they rob you while you're asleep. So you were treated the way you were treated when they thought you were a black male, because at that point they thought you were more a threat. And the last thing I want to say is that if you are fearful of human beings, then you don't need to be no police officer. If you are fearful, you need to find another job. If you are fearful.
It's directed towards the panel, and from what I saw the minute I walked in, we don't have a balance between the minority of police officers and Caucasians. And some of the questions that we do have are geared specifically towards a Caucasian officer. More specifically, let's say Black Lives Matter and what their opinion is on it. We don't have an officer we can talk to directly about that. So why is that?
Well, I disagree, sister, because she said an officer pulled her over. She didn't say what his ethnicity was.
Mine is not balancing officers. I'm directing the panel I have right now.
No, but I think her problem was the officer and not a specific white officer or Hispanic officer. She said an officer.
I know, but I'm asking this.
Why there's not a white? Nicole. She might as white as you can get. By the white officers represented.
Why is there a balance?
The Dr. Sawyer didn't invite in.
There was another officer, Hispanic officer, that was supposed to be coming here. To be honest with you, I think the only way you talk about Kim just not in uniform. It's the uniform, right? That sets people off. But there again, but you have to realize the people's level of experience, not only the police officer, but people's level of experience in life. As I said, I worked in Northeast Houston. I rode with a white male by the name of J.C. Putnam for almost 7 years. My son, his name is J.C. Tanger, because he was such a fine officer. He wasn't decent, he was honorable. He was honorable. And he would tell people in different community meetings. See, I worked for Lee Brown, and Lee Brown instituted community policing. So community policing, the things that they're talking about, we did this 30 years ago. We did, what we did, every resource we had in the community, we tried to address it. And what, we would have white officers, black officers, night shift officers, day shift officers, meeting the civic leaders, the church leaders, everyone in that particular venue on a monthly basis. Initially, individuals did not want to participate, but the crime had gotten so great, they had to start participating. So I understand what you're saying, but I know a lot of honorable policemen, black, white, brown, and I know some who just get through the day. But the bottom line of it is, as Brother Muhammad said, and he just told the truth, when that sister was considered to be a man, I'm a brother. I keep a Houston police hat in my car. In my car. Because I know how the real world works. We can say and talk and sense and propaganda and what if. I can tell you right now, I have been stopped. I have been pulled out of the car. I have been questioned. But until I got out and showed my ID, did I get an apology. And these were my own APD.
We have a question.
We got a question. He specifically wanted to ask this to you, but.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jalen Johnson. My question was, for the attorney was, if you have a Caucasian male who committed a murder and you have a black male who committed a murder, why does it seem that a white person gets less time or any minority or any other time?
Well, I think that question, I don't do criminal law, but I'm quite familiar with it. But, you know, I'd like to go back and because I think it answers your question also. And I hear people talking, Derek is very inspirational and very positive on his message, and police are positive on their message. But, you know, if you want to do something about it, you don't like what HPD is doing, it's I'm the only person in this room. I'm over it. You don't have the chance. Become a police officer. Vote. You know, everybody got excited in 2008 to vote. Look at that. Obama in there. Well, 2 years later, there was a vote for Congress. No one showed up to vote. So our laws are all messed up. Y'all can change it. I ran for Congress. I put $480,000 of my own money into it. My own money. I lost. My former wife wasn't happy about it. She dreamed about the house she could have that she didn't have. But I tried to do something, and y'all are young, y'all are so inspired. And I am so happy to see y'all here. Because it gives me hope for my children and my grandchildren that this youth is coming. But if you don't like what HPD is doing, become a police officer. If you don't like what your Congress is doing, vote him out. If there's a drug dealer in your community, get your community organized and get rid of them. Patrol can do it. But what happens is, we're very excited, you know, in 2008, 2012, for example, we're very excited about Obama. I was great, the kids were, I thought, man, this is really going somewhere. Now we've got two people running and people saying, well, I don't like either one. Well, the laws are still going to get passed. So either you're going to do something about it, or you're going to sit over here and complain that this is happening and that's happening. And so, like, I'm inspired by that. And where this goes with your question was, you know, it's the jury system. We have a system here. We pick jurors. You know, if enough people show up for jury duty, there will be one type of verdict. You know, if you get, for example, in criminal law, you only have one person that holds up the jury, and you know, there's a miscall, or you can have them all, and there's a conviction. But you all have to get involved. It's all involvement. And like I said, I see this young group over here, and boy, am I really happy. I really happy. Because like I said, I don't have much longer to live, but I'm so happy that there are people here that are going to help my grandchildren and my children. And so all I have to say is just get involved.
Michael is like another father to me. I lost my father in 2008, and I met Michael back in '94, but he kind of picked up the slack. And about 15 years ago, I bought a house in the Woodlands, and I was so excited about it. And Michael, and I called him, and I told him, he said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "Because if you ever go to court, that 12-man jury ain't gonna look like you." And he's right. So now I live in Third Ward. But we got a question in the back.
Hello, my name is Bian Ram This question is for Brother Muhammad. Well, not really a question, but just go off of what he was saying, which I was trying to say before he got to say it. But I feel like, I understand it's 10 o'clock at night, and it's dark. But like he was saying, I feel like if you're a police officer, you shouldn't be scared. You shouldn't have the fear. You shouldn't escalate the situation, then try to be escalated after you find out what's really going on. I feel personally you have no right to be out at night as a police officer if you know you're afraid anyways. Like, why would you do that to yourself?
Yes, I agree. Let me first say that in conjunction with the professor's answer to why it is that it seems that black males get more time for murder than white males, it has something to do with the wealth gap. And if you know anything about the criminal justice system, the more money you have, the better representation you can hire. And with great representation and knowing the system, you can get out of almost anything. Now, I agree with you. If a police officer pulls me over at 10 o'clock at night, let me ask the question, y'all. I don't carry a weapon. So who has the gun? Who's got the gun?
But you don't know that.
All right. Wait, who had, hold one second. Hold one second. Who had, we do know that the police officer has the gun, right? Whether you know if I have one or not. Who has the taser? Police officer. Who has the law on his or her side? Come on now. All right. Now let me ask this question. Who has the training? Who has the training? That's why you are called a professional police officer. Now, if you pull me over and you are afraid, first of all, you're afraid, what you pull me over for? If you're afraid, especially if I hadn't done anything wrong. If you're scared, leave me alone. But if you're afraid, then there's a good chance that you might make a poor decision based upon your fear. Now, what happens? Your fear becomes contagious and it jumps into me. Now, both of us are crazy. But what does your train, go back to your training. The first thing you should do is when you pull somebody over is to remain calm. Especially if I haven't given you any reason to be alarmed. And that's the problem. The problem is that police officers in America are not trained to deal with people who are not afraid of them. If you pull me over and I'm acting scared and I'm shaking, now the officer's okay. All right, he knows who's in control. But if I speak to you in a man's voice, which I'm allowed to do according to the Constitution, then all of a sudden you're afraid. Why? You're the one with the gun. You're the one with the law on your side. So I believe that if officers are out here and they are afraid, then there has to be drastic changes in the training that they undergo, because we need police officers on the street that are not afraid of the people.
Thank you. You have a question?
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, I don't mean to cut you because I know you're going to beat me up later. But they saw you on me. And we got 4 on each side, and she's trying to get it 9 minutes. And I don't know how. Don't ask Derek, because we ain't going to make it.
No, mine isn't more of a question. It's more like referring to what he said, that if you have fear, you shouldn't be a police officer. I very much disagree with that, because all of us as human beings, we have emotions, and fear is one of them. So I think that it's very brave for the police officers to be out there trying to defend us. Yes, I agree with the fact that there are some police officers who want guns, but we all have fears. You can't expect them to control. I understand they have the training, yes, but how can you based on the girl's statement, how can you tell his thoughts? Thoughts can't be seen. You can't tell that he thought she was a black male because you can't exactly see that. So I think that she can't take that situation personal. Yes, it was wrong, but also at the same time, they do go undergo training, and to take it personally on that one time when she wasn't even given a ticket, I think sometimes it's good to let go of certain things. And we all have fear, so I don't think that your statement is quite valid.
I just want to follow up. I just want to follow up and say thank you for what you say. I disagree with this gentleman just on that, an aspect of that, because I think everybody has a level of fear. Now, yes, if you're shaking in the car, you probably don't need to be a police officer, but on something, whether it's a traffic stop, whether it's a home invasion, whether it's a silent 911 at the house, as a police officer, when I arrive, I do have a heightened level of stress because I don't know. When I come to a vehicle, I don't know if this is friend or foe. I do have to assess the situation. Nighttime is different than evening shift. When we approach a vehicle, we're trained to do a quick peek. You're watching the car, you're watching the hands. There's a towel on the front seat. What's under that towel? Why is it that? I can't see his hand, let me see your hands. There are a lot of different situations that happen in the situation, and officers do have to make assessments in seconds, and he is correct. If your fear overtakes the scene, you can convey your fear, and then you can make the wrong decision. But to say somebody can't have fear, I just agree with that.
That's why I'm not a cop, because I'm scared.
Hi, my name is Stella, and I'm so sorry. Well, I just had a question. I was wondering, what is the exact extensive training that police officers receive if Eric Garner was in a headlock? But why was it that he was in a headlock? Why did the officer feel the need to react so harshly? Or why was it when a young female was just acting out, which, it's wrong, but she was, I don't know, was she afraid or something? Why did the officer feel the need to pull out a gun? So what is the extensive training that officers receive if y'all receive so much training? Why do y'all not receive training to react a certain way in a certain situation? Why isn't there,
I can only speak for Houston. I know we go through extensive training, and every time we have one of these major situations, we have to go back and be retrained on what to do and what not to do. What happens a lot of times is officers, out of fear, or maybe they deviate from the training. I think in the Garner, that headlock wasn't even, it's not even a legal move. That's not even a tactical move that's trained. I think he got that off WWE or something. And then look what happened. But the training we do receive, now, and I found out there is no universal system of training of police, which is probably needs to be addressed. I assume that everybody got the same amount of training, which isn't true. Luckily for Houston, our department, we haven't had one of these national incidents. But a lot of times when these incidents happen, I think it's really easy just to make the police officer the scapegoat. He's racist. He's a crooked cop. When a lot of times, my background now is I work in a crime scene unit, and basically all I do is investigate murders and also involve shootings. A lot of times officers do things tactically wrong, whether it's fear, whether they jump a gun, that's a bad pun, but a lot of times officers make tactical errors that cost people their lives. And no, they shouldn't just get a slap on the wrist, and because a family still has to adjust to that. A family loses a lost one. But a lot of times, I don't think it is race. I think race may play a factor in it, but a lot of times, from an investigative point of view, when we investigate officer involved shootings, it's bad police tactics.
Thank you. We have a question over here.
Real quick, just to add to what he said, in the Eric Garner case, I'm also a resident of New York, and the city of New York ended up paying his family, I want to say $5 million. And there are a lot of citizens of New York that are upset about that, because that money comes from you. It's taxpayer money. So the citizens are now saying, hey, we need to hold these cops responsible for what they're doing, because I don't want my taxes to continue to raise to pay for their mistakes. So it's not just the family that suffers, even though they suffer ultimately the most. We as a collective all suffer because we all pay tax.
So throughout my entire life, I've been told that the purpose of the police is to protect us and to serve us. But in this time, where it's so clear that the only real power that they have is the threat of violence over us, and they expect us to obey that just because we're afraid of being hurt, how am I supposed to trust the police? How am I supposed to think that they're here to protect me or anyone I love care about?
I don't want to wrap up, but I have a question. If you have a home invasion, who was called out to your home? Police officers are there, so that's, serve protect. We still have other jobs than just, or other duties out there than just what media portrays right now in society. You have domestic violence, you have child abuse, you have different things that fall underneath policing instead of saying that all it is, they're promoting violence. We still interact in different aspects of the law. We act underneath the law.
You have a question over here?
Hi, my name is Tyler Stevens. My question would have to pertain to the, more or less the process of arrest, because not too long ago I was arrested for accidentally shooting my neighbor's house with a paintball gun, and she called the cops out. And what ended up happening was I was slapped into a cop car, cussed and everything. I was stuck in, I was sent downtown, and I was there until about 3 in the morning. And by the time I realized that they let me out, and I didn't get so much as a phone call to let my dad know they let me out in the middle of the night. And I was stuck out there and had to wait for someone to come by so I could use their phone. Because I was arrested with literally just clothes on my back and a water bottle in my pocket. So, Sheriff's Department. Sheriffs. I actually know a couple of sheriff's deputies, and they went back and kind of tore into this guy's sergeant, and he got quite a verbal thrashing. Now, what I'm concerned about is they were trying to charge me with a misdemeanor offense that never really stuck, because by the time I realized that my friend's dad had told me that the PA had thrown out the case before it ever really got to the point of being a case.
What did you shoot?
I shot my paintball gun, and I was test firing it, and it kind of looped up over the fence because of the type of barrel I had on it.
Yeah, the thing is, who wanted to file charges?
It was my neighbor who was right behind me. She has a sort of chemical dependence.
So, when you apologized?
I went over to apologize, even clean up my mess, and she was still adamant to start.
I'll be honest with you, you supposed to have too much stuff to do.
And that's exactly what I was concerned about, because, a bunch of my sheriff's deputy friends had told me that they would never arrest me, they would give me a fine or a ticket, and just told me to pay it on when I got the chance and then be done with it.
That's what happened.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, I have a question. So I'm not going to feed into police or violence and all of this kind of stuff. I'm Vice President of Justice Agents of Change, and I'm also a student at San Francisco. So one thing that I think that I would like to see is if everyone, maybe not specifically everyone sitting at this panel, but community activists, police officers, lawyers, and judges get together in the community. And because I know one thing that we have that contributes to crime is community disorganization. So how can everyone, and on this panel, not specifically you guys, but of your position, get together in the community and alleviate the fears instead of just promoting?
I think that eliminating the fear starts here. I mean, because there are a lot of good police officers. I was one of those people that took the challenge to make a difference, to try to save the community, and that was initially what led me into policing. Real quick, as as people, I think we have to learn how to, as police officers, we have to learn how to talk to our people. We have to learn to speak to citizens the way they're going to react in a positive way, with respect, and it's a two-way street. What I've noticed in my years of patrol, different cultures treat police officers differently. I've had many times white people will walk with their kids, hey, I want you to meet my son, hey, he's a police officer, he's our friend. Black and Hispanic people kind of do it differently, you know, hey, I'm gonna get him to arrest you. And I see this all the time. And it plants a seed of fear in the children. And I've seen this, I used to work an extra job at Walmart and I think at another grocery store and churches. And I noticed constantly that's what happened, that some cultures would bring their kids to introduce to the police and others would, and I'm not saying it's like everybody, but when you do that to your kid as a youth, hey, I'm gonna get him to arrest you, hey, officer, come arrest him. It plants a seed. I remember one time I pulled up to a scene and this child just went hysterical, crying. I said, what's wrong? His dad had been beaten by a police officer, I saw it. So forever, it's fair.
We have a question.
Hello, everybody. I'm the president of Psi Beta and student here. I have a question. I was taught last week, and as a person of color, I had to think twice if whether or not I was going to make it home alive. Why is it that I have to be afraid of my life? And also, when a person of color commits a crime, officers are quick to shoot, tase, or even kill. And when it's a person of color, why is that? Even before being given a trial. Why is it different for a person of color? That's my question.
Maybe, well, I'm a person of color, so I'm not gonna have no problem with it. So, maybe Kim or someone else can address that. But I want to say a couple of things regarding, if I was talking with, because like I said, Derek, Derek, I've been doing it a long time, and he can speak. But let me reemphasize where I worked. I worked 5th Ward. I worked Cashmere Garden. I worked Denver Harbor, which is down the Hispanic area. I think yesterday or the day before, HPD took the cadets on a field trip to Sunnyside to the Chinese area up around Bel Air. They took them out there. They took them other couple places, emphasizing the difference in diversity and things of that nature. Let me be again emphasize this. Someone may not agree with this, but I kept the stats for Northeast Houston. Every month, they'll go through stats. Now, I'm going to say this. No one calls the police. I'm talking about big city now. Big city. I'm not talking about some small place. No one calls the police more than us, meaning black people. No one needs the police more than us. No more body raised more Canada. But it's like Brother Muhammad says, everything is capital. If there's no economic development, if there's constant incarceration instead of education, if there is lack of jobs and jobs training, and there is no teaching, no positive male influence, what do you think is going to happen? Again, we're going to either pay our money up front, or we're going to pay our money in the end. So we're going to pay.
Excuse me, I have a question.
We got one last question.
Yes, all right, my name is Evan Davis. I'm president of the Black Student Union here at University Park. And first, I wanted to just thank all of you guys for coming out. Now, you said that you work in 5th Ward. My family comes from 5th Ward. My grandmother still stays out there. I actually grew up in Acres Homes. I stayed there for about 12, 13 years. So I've been a part of an underdeveloped society for most of my life. And one thing I've noticed is that there is a mistrust of police. Even as far as I'm growing up, my friends, family members, we don't trust the police simply because they have not been there until there was an issue. Then when there was an issue, there was a misunderstanding. So I've actually been researching a lot. My professors are actually Dr. Sawyer and Professor Johnson, so I really learned a lot, and it actually inspired me to get into the community, because I understand it's not going to happen. We can get here, we can have panels, everybody can come up, but it's not going to happen until you as the individual take the initiative to do something. And what I wanted to know, ask you is, what can the average person do on the basic, the lowest level? Because sometimes I ride around the neighborhood and I see, okay, such and such over this district or this precinct. How do I get in contact with them? How do I message them? How do I apply pressure to let them know that, hey, I'm part of this community, I'm not satisfied, or I'm part of this community and I am satisfied, but I want to keep the things the way they are, or try to find a way to improve.
Okay, I'm gonna answer that. I'm from Acres Home. I'm from Acres Home, black, educated, got a degree, got a job. I joined the police department. So when you say, it starts here, like you said, it starts here. What you can do with a pen, a pencil, go fill out an application. Log on your smartphone, say you want to get involved. First of all, every neighborhood, I'm from Acres Home, they got a civic club, that's HOA. I know y'all, some of y'all out here, y'all know what HOA is. Civic clubs, start a civic club in your neighborhood. Get the community involved, get your neighbors involved, go sit up at the station, right off of West Montgomery and say, hey, my neighborhood is right over here. I got a few neighbors that want to know this and that. Push that issue that your community is together and that you are working, and be a liaison. If you can't be a liaison and be a distraction, know the difference. Be a part, improve. Not just take what the media say or what social media say and think that's the golden and Bible. Don't act on what somebody else tells you. Find out for yourself. And if you're not getting education, like I say, yes, they're doing something that's positive for a small group, but a lot of people believe everything they read on Facebook or any social media or just the media. That's not the truth. Live it, learn, and educate yourself.
I thought a very good friend of mine, he wanted to close out with a strong point. We want to do the raffle. Before we do, I want to say thanks to everybody up here, especially my good friends. And if y'all have any questions for the panel, we're going to run a little bit, so you can do that. I'll give you down to live the future.
How y'all doing? Yeah. Hey, before I start this poem, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my backstory, which makes me feel like I'm qualified to speak on a few things that everybody was discussing back there. The first thing is, I went to prison at the age of 15 years old, all right? Certified as an adult. So I'm listening to what everybody has to say, and I hear what you guys are saying as well. A lot of, especially with the sister from Acres Home, because I used to live across the street from Briggs, West Montgomery, and Belgrade. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But I know this thing as well. I believe that I can see this sister at church Sunday and be sitting right next to her, and everything is cool. We can even grow up together, and that's cool. I don't think that she is racially profiling anybody. I believe that the system that she works for is racially profiling everybody, because one thing we didn't talk about, because a lot of you guys probably haven't been there yet, is when you actually go to the county. Now, we talking about all of this, you know, your window crack and all of that, but I done seen guys, because I've been in there a few times, who are drunk. They get beat up by the police officers just because they're drunk. They don't comprehend that, you know, that's the reason why you're arresting them. And I'm not talking to you per se, I'm just speaking to everybody. So I've been on both sides, so I hear everything you guys are saying. It's not that I want to be like, oh, no, they lying. They up here trying to sell these kids wolf tickets. That's not what I'm saying. I believe that the system is messed up, because if it's 10 o'clock at night and you're afraid of me and you have a gun, regardless if you don't know if I have one or not, but if you come up to me hostile, off the rip, and it's up to me to cool you down when you see that I'm scared or I got some sense, that's a problem. That's a problem off the rip, because it's not my job to make you calm. It's not at all. So what I say is, it's the system. It's not so much this guy right here. It's not him. It's the system, because when you see videos of the county jail and you see the police officer beating up on someone, and then your fellow officers don't do nothing about it, they don't hold you accountable. When you tell me to go vote and get this stuff out, when it's like, okay, I go and do what you say, now I'm a police officer, and I see my peers beating up on someone here, and I don't tell them because it's this snitch rule also in jail too, on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So now that happens, it's like, okay, go vote, go do this, but really, it's not really doing nothing. It's about the system. Until we fix the system, it still relates back to what he said, the whole reason why police officers are here was to get the slaves back on the plantation. So we still stuck here, it's just that it's no longer hoodies. Now we're changing them for blue suits. So I leave that there. Okay, now, this poem, I hope you guys like it. You can follow me on Facebook at Khalid the Future. It's Khalid the Future. Alright? It's a spiritual recession. When you treat your family like complete strangers, and strangers like complete family. I say you ain't lived until you can give somebody something they can never repay you back. That's fact logic, but if you ain't got common sense, how you gonna fund the mental? And let that settle in and work its way throughout the room. I said if you ain't got common sense, how you gonna fund the mental? Queens. If you think being an independent woman is hard, try keeping together a family. Spouse, if you carry bricks from your past relationship into your new one, you mind to build the same house. Your mindset kind of rocky, the foundation ain't right. You keep thinking looks gonna get you everywhere. Sight. You wear makeup to make up a new face so much so you forget how your real self look, and that your face is a face and not a coloring book. So Miss Makeup, I got some makeup advice for you. How about you eat that makeup so you can be pretty in the inside too? Yeah, you got a nice shape. Yeah, you got a nice shape, but your soul is wet. The style is like the plastic on the sofa set. It's so hype on you watching a man marry you, and you give up everything a married man gets in one night. It's a spiritual recession. Kings. I know you're wondering why you can never win in a trap house. Maybe because the house is named the Trap. And the partners you rocking with ain't your partners. You got the game twisted. They gonna make meetings in front of your eyes and watch you get addicted. Yeah, jealousy burns. It comes from looking at other people's blessings and not focus on yours. Y'all gonna mess around and set us back like 400 years. Slaves, whips, chains. Now look what y'all did, set us back like 400 years. Slaves, whips, chains. Posted on the curb, sitting and pausing like it's all good. Take it from the Pope, give it to the rich. Y'all just robbing hoods. Fake gangsters, your whole blockbusters. You make me want to go rent a movie. Y'all just some cowboys reenacting what you see on Western TV. Somebody needs to check their contrast. What happened to each one, teach one. You know what's separating the people from germs. Fathers passing that back to their sons. My bad, I forgot. You know, fathers be running away these days. They remind me of a trap beat. Take that in consideration. Now I'm about to do something that the devil won't do. And that's leave you alone. Thank y'all for listening.
Okay, so this is the end of our program. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it? Yes. Okay, thank you. Once again, this is brought to you by Psi Beta, Justice Agents of Change, and Civic Engagement. So right now, please pull out your raffle tickets. We have 4 raffles that we are going to do, and Mr. Wallace is going to pull the first one. Does everyone have their raffle tickets out? Everybody did not get one.